Hi everyone, welcome back to the Ellinesscrafts channel. For those of you that are joining me for the first time, welcome. I know that quite a few people have come over from Caroline's channel, which is Off the Grid Needle Art. So thank you for coming over and having a look, and hopefully you find something here that keeps your interest and you stay. To those of you that are returning, thanks for coming back, and let's get into things. So the make-alongs that I had going on Ravelry and on Instagram is now at an end. So that was the Sock It To Me make-along, which was a sock-along, and I needed to see completed socks on the Instagram hashtag ENC Sock It To Me and over in the Ravelry group. So I've had quite a few, how many entries? I think I had 29 valid entries in the Instagram thread. And so I'm going to quickly choose the winner from there. Let me put in, I'm using random.org, so you know. So 1 to 20, oh, let's go again. Okay, so for random.org, it has come up with the number 3. Hopefully you can see that there. So it's chosen the number 3, and that is on my list here. I wrote all the names of everyone who posted a valid entry on my Instagram, and that one was dnice515. I'm pretty sure that is Denise from, she's got a podcast. I'll put her podcast name on the screen. So well done, Denise. I will try and insert a picture of what your winning socks look like here. So that is the winner of the Instagram prize. I can't remember. Do you know what? I haven't even got the prizes here with me. That is not clever. Give me a minute. So unorganised. I apologise for that. So, Denise, you need to contact me for your prize, which is the Craft House Magic skein of yarn, kindly donated by Ellie of Craft House Magic podcast. And this is in the colourway Sweet Dreams. That is what it looks like. Well done, you. Contact me over on Instagram or on Ravelry and let me have your mailing details so I can get this prize out to you. And for the Ravelry group, I already selected a winner for that off camera. Or did I do it? I can't remember if I did it on camera now. If I've got it on camera, then I will insert that info. But the winner was Noelle at Knits and Pieces. And so well done, Noelle. I will post a picture of her entry over here so you guys can see it. And you have won the project bag. So I will be getting that off to you. This is the two-tone one that I made. So well done, Noelle. Thanks for taking part. So thank you to everybody who took part in that sock along. I do hope you had some fun showing off your socks and knitting up new socks. It's been a little bit of a strange time since January. This year's been a bit of a strange one, so I do hope that the sock along brought you some joy in all of this that's going on in the world. So yeah, so that is the sock along, the end of the sock along. I'm trying to think about whether or not I'm going to do something else to take us up to Christmas, but I will get back to you on that one. Let's just go straight into now the finished objects. I don't have a huge amount of finished objects to show you, so this section is going to be quite short, but I do have some. So I'm going to start with the Right Around the Corner shawl by Lisa Hannes, which is this pattern here. I had started this last time around, and it's now of course finished. I didn't do the tassels because I've used a load of different mini skeins of yarn, and so I thought that I wanted to just use the different mini skeins and not create tassels as well. I thought you know, all the different variations in colour was enough without adding tassels to it. I thought adding tassels would probably be a little bit overkill for this one. So I started in the blue section, and it's a triangular shawl, so you work in a triangular, hopefully you can see that. It comes out in a triangular shape. I started off on the blues and I've ended on the yellows. So it is quite, it's quite a decent sized shawl. I could have extended it, I could have made it longer, but I ran out of minis that I thought would go with it. So I kind of left it at this length. And like I said, I didn't do the tassels. I'll insert a picture of what it looks like over my shoulders and stuff. Oh no, it's got a snag on it. How did that happen? Somehow I've managed to snag it, and it's been in a bag for ages, so I'm not sure how that happened. But yeah, I've put my little tag on the bottom there as well. Wasn't quite sure where to put it. I'm pleased with this. It's a very easy shawl. It's all garter stitch, so I think a beginner could do this if you can knit front and back, knit front and back stitches, as in like increases, then you should be able to knit this. It's a very easy, memorable pattern, and the pattern is very clear. So I didn't have any problems with this pattern at all. It's all garter stitch, and I enjoyed knitting this, and I'm actually quite keen on making another one, probably in just one solid colour. But yeah, I'm pleased with how it turned out, and it was very quick, very easy knit. I would definitely recommend it to a beginner. Definitely a beginner pattern. Someone of that level could do this shawl. So yeah, great pattern to work on. Really enjoyed that. My next finished objects are a pair of socks. So these are, I'm calling these my zigzag socks. These are worked toe up. I've used a contrasting toe and cuff. I don't tend to do toe up socks generally, because I prefer to do a heel flap and gusset, and I didn't come across a recipe for the heel flap and gusset from the toe up until I'd really got used to and actually enjoyed doing the cuff down ones. So anyway, the reason I decided to do toe up for these was because I felt like just, you know, challenging my brain a little bit and refreshing my memory as to how to work the toe up socks. So that's why I've done these. The yarn is King Cole Zigzag, that's it there, and the colour is Ocean. And the grey is just a West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply grey yarn. So my cast on is the Turkish cast on. There are videos on YouTube about how to do the Turkish cast on, so I won't explain that here. And then I used a sock recipe for the heel flap and gusset toe up. That looks a bit odd, doesn't it? I used a recipe for that. And yeah, they turned out fine. I made a comment. I posted a comment that I wanted to work some socks and wasn't sure what kind of heel to do, and one of my followers on Instagram gave me some instructions for how to work the toe up socks with the heel flap and gusset. I will try and, if I remember, I'll try and insert her name on the screen here. But yeah, she was quite helpful in sharing how to work the heel flap and gusset style socks from the toe upwards, and so I've kind of adapted that, and I've used some other pattern that I have here to kind of mishmash it all together, and I've come up with the toe up, and I quite like it. I mean, I haven't got the holes here like you do on some socks. I managed to alleviate getting holes there. The only mistake I made with these is when I joined the main yarn from the contrast colour, I forgot to put the threads, the ends, in the corners of the toes. So when you're working it, if I explain it right, when you work in the sock, you're working it like this, and rather than having the threads under here on the sole of the feet, you want to have the ends on the corners so they can be woven in there, or on the top so you don't feel it when you're walking. I made the mistake of weaving in of having my ends somewhere in the middle on the bottom, and so I've had to weave in my threads on the bottom of the sock, which I could feel when I tried them on. I could feel the bumpiness of where I'm woven it in, which isn't ideal, but you live and learn. You live and learn. I should have thought about it while I was changing colours and stuff, but it didn't even occur to me. I was just trying to focus on what I was going to do with the heel. Anyway, so I have also the bind off I used. I don't know if there's a name for it, but I tend to do the a rib bind off, but I increase a stitch. I do a yarn over in between each stitch. So I will do, and I'm doing a 2x2 rib. So for example, I will do knit one, in yarn over, knit the next stitch, and then I will do then I will lift the yarn over and the previous stitch over the last one to bind it off, and then for the next stitch I will do purl one, yarn over, purl, and then I will pull the last stitch over the previous stitch over the last one. It's complicated, but I do a yarn over in between each stitch, each set of stitches, in between the two knit stitches and in between the two purl stitches, and then I will just lift the yarn over and that knit stitch over the last knit stitch or purl stitch. Hopefully that's clear. I'm not quite sure if that has a name, that technique, but that's how I've done it, and I'm quite pleased with how it doesn't flare. It doesn't seem to flare. I'm quite pleased with the way that turned out. So those are my socks that I've finished. Then I had, let's see, what else did I have? Then I had my cross stitch project. So you guys know I've been working on the Deck the Halls pattern design even by Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and last time I'll insert a picture, I was here, and now it is finished and this is what it looks like. I'm really pleased with it. I've mounted it on a piece of sticky board, so it's not looking very tidy. I'll show you the back. This is what it looks like. I don't lace or anything like that. I haven't quite started or tried that lacing technique, and I figured with the sticky board it should just, the front sticks nicely, and then the back, it didn't occur to me, oh, what am I going to do with the back? So I've literally just used some glue and glued the back of the fabric down, but I've put some tape, some washi tape over the edges, because I'm yet to decide how to finish off the back of this. I want the back to look nice, but I haven't quite decided. I'm thinking of putting a piece of fabric over the back, just to a plain blue fabric over the back, just to kind of hide all of this mess, probably with another piece of board, and then attaching a hanger, but I haven't quite got there yet. But that is my finish. I'm really pleased with it. I did make a couple of mistakes, but I'm not going to point them out, and I don't think anyone's going to notice, so I'm really pleased with that. And that is all kind of, it's an FO, it's not an FFO, but it's an FO, so I'm pleased with that. Then I have also finished part 4 of the Positivity Rules Stitch Along, another one by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I can't show you a picture of the finished design because there isn't one, because it's a stitch along, but I can show you what it looked like last time, and this is what it looks like now. So we have, let me see if I can let me just get a piece of something to hold it up against so you can see. Here we go. So this is what it looks like. This Listen and Smile and Laugh were part 4. All the rest of it is 1 to 3, parts 1 to 3, but this is part 4, so I've completed this section here and these here. I did make a mistake on this one because I realised after I'd stitched all of the word smile that I'd used the wrong colour blue. So I was looking at the chart and looking at the blue that was, you know, from the key. I was looking at the key and I just thought, oh, okay, it's a blue, and I just stitched it in. And then only after I'd finished, I think I literally got to yeah, I think I'd finished the word E and was on the word laugh, and I thought, oh, what colour blue is that? And then I realised I'd used the wrong blue from the set for smile, but you know what? It makes it a little bit more unique, doesn't it? So that's where I'm at with this. I'm pleased with the way it's turned out. I think my stitching is getting a bit neater as well. This is on 32 count Zweigart Ada, not Ada, Zweigart even weave, and it's stitched 2/2. So that's that. So I'm pleased with that. I forgot to mention actually the other one, Deck the Halls one. This one is stitched on 16 count Ada, and that is 2/2. So yeah, I like it. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. I'm really happy with this one. Really happy with that, and I'm happy with this one. I can't wait for part 4, part 5 even, which I'm assuming will be more words going there and there, but who knows? I could be wrong. But that is it. So that's, I think that's part 4 completed. I think that's all my finished objects. Yeah, that's it, guys. See, told you it wasn't that long. So now we shall move into works in progress. Let me tidy all of this other stuff away, and then I will get into works in progress. So whips. First one I have to share with you is in my sheepy bag, and this is the Pusterbloom wrap. This is what it looks like for those of you that haven't seen it before. I've been working on this for quite some time, and it's getting longer. I will say that. It is a slow knit for me, as I mentioned last time, because I'm having to be careful about my counting, and talking of counting, I did mess up and I did lose a stitch somewhere and have to kind of make it up in the knots. But yeah, this is where I've got to. So last time I moved my marker to here, and this is where I started from after the last episode, last video, and this is how much I have done. So it's getting longer. It is more than wingspan, but I thought to myself that I would quite like to have it, gosh, look at this, I've got threads everywhere. I'd quite like to have it so that it goes around a bit more than once, and at the moment that's quite short. So I'd quite like to have it so it can go back over the shoulder, you know, so like this bit. So I'm going to continue knitting on that. I might just finish the current ball, which is that's what I've got in that current ball. So if I finish this ball, I'll probably have a decent length of a wrap. In case you haven't seen it before, Pusterbloom in German means dandelion. That's what it looks like. These are little kind of dandelions, and that's what it looks like. It's a mohair that I'm using, which is a kid silk mohair blend. That is the yarn label by Drops, and yeah, it's going slowly. I've still got the thing that I'm confused about is that for some reason I bought quite a few balls of this mohair, and I still have 4 balls left in here, and I've only used 2 and a bit, or is it 1 and a bit? I haven't used, yeah, 2 and a bit. So I don't know why I bought so much of it, but apparently I needed it. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to find a use for all of those bits of those other balls. But yeah, it's quite long. Quite pleased with it. It's progressing, but it's slow. It's not wide. I've seen some pictures on Ravelry where they've blocked it, but I feel like I don't want to stretch it. I want it to just have this nice natural shape to it. I think that's wide enough. It's going to be so pretty when it's finished. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to finishing it, because it's fiddly to work with, and it's one that I don't pull it out that often. Like I said last time, I don't pull it out like every evening to work on, purely because sometimes I want to just watch TV and knit. Sometimes I want to not have to concentrate too much on what I'm doing, and with this one I have to be focused and count my stitches and make sure that I've got the right number of loops where the knots are. It's a free pattern, so I can share that. and and I have to be able to see the stitches because it's mohair. The stitches are quite fine. You can see there. You can quite easily knit two together, which I think I've done numerous times on this. So it's not a difficult pattern to follow, but it can be a little tricky, is how I would describe it. Not difficult, but slightly tricky, because you have to really focus on what you're doing. So yeah, so that's my first work in progress. Next thing I have to share with you is a pair of socks. So I got yarn left over from these socks. So I have quite a few, quite a lot, not few. I've got quite a lot of yarn left over from that. That's the yarn. So I thought I'd just make another pair of socks. And so again, I'm doing toe up this time. I like to work my socks in tandem on 9-inch circulars. So this time I have not done a contrasting toe. I want to use up the leftover yarn. So I'm going to see how far I get with this. I wanted to do contrasting heels, but at the same time I want to make sure that I finish all of the yarn. So I may just stick to doing the heels in the main colour and see how far I can get. I might only get a pair of shorty socks out of that, but we shall see. I think I'm going to be playing yarn chicken, so watch this space to see what happens with these, whether or not they have any contrast in them at all. But they are just plain vanilla toe up socks using the same recipe that I used for the previous ones. So that's those. I've got as far as on one sock I've got as far as where I need to start doing increases for the gusset. So shouldn't be long before I get those finished. And that is in my Knitting Teaspoon project bag by the lovely Lisbeth. I don't think she's recorded a video in a long time. She just had a baby, so she's got her hands full. So anyway, next up I have been doing crocheting. Let's grab that. I wanted to do a bit more crocheting because I haven't done a lot of crocheting recently, and I came up with this idea to do some tablecloths. My family seem to be demolishing my standard rigid tablecloths, not tablecloths, table mats, placemats. They seem to be demolishing my current placemats, so I thought I would have a go at making some fabric placemats instead. And since they can be washed and looked after, and and they're not pricey, I thought I would just have a go at making some placemats and see how we get along with these. So I bought some cotton yarn, thinking, well, cotton, nice and washable. You can put heated things on them, then it's not going to melt under the heat and all of that kind of stuff. So I picked up some King Cole Vogue double knitting cotton yarn. I got this on the Wool Warehouse website, and this is in the shade Pale Denim, which is number 212. That's the information there, and it looks like this in the ball. I wasn't keen when the balls of yarn arrived. I wasn't keen because I thought it was going to be a darker blue. It's pretty much coming up to colour on this video, so I was like, I'm not sure. Then I had a go with it, and I have made 2 tablecloth placemats. I keep saying tablecloths, 2 placemats so far, so this is the first one. So what I've done with this, I wanted to do something slightly different than just ordinary single crochet, which is a US term, which is our UK double crochet. I wanted to do something slightly different than just that, and I saw, I think it was Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful, she'd done a blanket in C2C moss stitch, which is what this is. I looked up a video online on YouTube, and I taught myself how to do the C2C, which is corner to corner moss stitch crochet, and I've come up with this. So this is what my placemat looks like. It's a rectangular shape, so I kind of had to adapt it, and I followed the instructions on the YouTube tutorial, which is really good. I can't remember which tutorial it is, but there are quite a few tutorials on how to do C2C moss stitch. So if you're interested, just look that up on YouTube. And it's basically single crochet stitch our UK double crochet, but on the diagonal. So you start in one corner, try and hold this up right, start in the corner and then you work out from, the corner and outwards like that, and then you start shaping when you want to make it into a rectangular shape, which is what I've done. So yeah, so I quite like the way it turned out. I have done around the edge, I've done a single crochet US double crochet border all around the outside. So as soon as I finished doing the C2C pattern, I then went around the outside all the way around and did a single crochet, and then I wanted it a little bit thicker, so I've done a half double crochet around the edge, which is half treble, I think, in the UK terms. So that's what it looks like. So I've done all of that around the edge. That's a bit of a close-up of what the C2C stitch looks like. And yeah, so I've done 2 of these so far. The plan is to do 6 placemats. That one's slightly bigger, I think, maybe because I've stretched it a bit, but you know, I mean, it's only going on the table, so it's just for everyday use, so I'm not really that fussed about it. But I've got a whole stash of yarn to use up, so I should have plenty there. And if I've got any left over, I'll probably make a little stuffy toy. And I'm using a size 4 crochet hook. I don't know what the brand this is because I don't remember. I think it's Addy, possibly. But I'm using this crochet hook. And yeah, it's slow. I just started another square, well, another one here, just before the video, and yeah, it's slow progress. I mean, well, it's not slow actually. It works up quite quickly when I get going on it, but because I'm a crocheter that has to look at my work, I can't just crochet. It takes that little bit longer for me than it would somebody who's a little bit more experienced with crocheting and doesn't have to look at it. So yeah, but I do enjoy that one. I do enjoy that. Then I have moved on to, I have been doing quite a lot of cross stitching lately, as you can see. As you know, I finished the Deck the Halls project, and I've finished part 4 of the Positivity Rules stitch along. And so then I thought, well, I've got nothing else on the go, so I'm going to have a new start, and I started my Bothy Threads Shall We Dance. I showed this before when I bought the pattern, and I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased with it. It's so... I love the colours on this. So I'm working on a 14 count Ada, and I'm doing 2 over 2 cross stitch, and I've got it on, these are R&R snap frames, and this is where I am. So it's been really addictive. I did a tiny bit one day, and then I started stitching on this, and I just couldn't put it down. I mean, the thing is, because there's so many different colours in it, what tends to happen is that I've got gaps. So at the moment you can see I've filled in all the gaps, but I would have like little gap here that needs to be done in maybe, you know, in that deeper red colour, but I'd managed to finish all of the orange. Once you finish all of the orange, you've got a bit of a gap here, so then I'd go in and I'd fill in this gap, and then I'd realise there's another gap somewhere else. So I just kept going and going and going, and I couldn't put it down. I was that into it, and I think it's a really enjoyable stitch. I'm really enjoying it. If I pull it a bit closer, hopefully you can see the definition of my stitches. I think my stitches are coming out quite nice. The definition is quite decent. I don't think I'm doing too badly with this one. The threads that Bothy use are not DMC threads. I think I read somewhere that they are Madeira threads, so they're slightly different. That's the colour palette of all the threads, as you can see. So the one that I've just done, the seahorse that I'm working on, you can see is the left one. So I have to put, I've got to start the blue one over here, and that's a mixture of the blue and kind of turquoise and yellow, and this is like more warmer tones over this side. But yeah, I wanted to get one seahorse done and then move on to the next one, but it depends on what my mood is like when I'm stitching. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, and that's where I'm at currently. So watch this space. So then I noticed somebody, I was watching quite a few videos and somebody talked about what did they call it? Sampler September. And I thought, oh, I've got a sampler. And guess what? I've got the threads too. So I think I might join in on the Sampler September. Not that I know exactly what has to be done. All I'm thinking is, well, I can start a sampler in September. So I pulled out my Little Dove Designs chart. And let me find the image of what the finished thing's supposed to look like. So that's what it's meant to look like when it's completed. And this is how far I've got. So I'm working this again on 14 count Ada. I'm using DMC threads for this, and I'm doing it stitching 2/2. So that little koala is a caterpillar cross stitch koala. You can get it on their website, Needleminder. Yeah, so I've done the Merry Christmas, the holly. I've done some of the baubles. The baubles will look slightly different because I've got to do the finishing. But I'm trying to get to a point where I can get to the last box. I want to create the outline so then I can just work the boxes as I feel like it. Hopefully you can see. I'm in the middle of the print, in the middle of the design with the baubles, and I'm working downwards. So my next section will be the snowflakes. Hopefully you can see that. Let me see. The next section will be this one here, snowflakes, which should go quickly because it's all white, I presume. But yeah, I haven't had any difficulties with this. I think my counting has been pretty accurate. There are colour changes in the bauble, but once I got down to this bit, this was pretty quick because it was mainly green. I'm thinking the white bit is going to be, the snowflakes is going to be pretty quick to stitch through because I won't have to do any colour changing. And then I'm back to the holly section here. Yeah, and I'm enjoying doing this. I seem to really enjoy working samplers because of the little motifs, I think, and because I can do like boxes at a time. I like being able to have like small completions, if you know what I mean, small finishes. So if I finish a bauble, it's like, yes, I finished a bauble. So I kind of get excited when I finish that little section, go, yes, I've finished the Merry Christmas box. So I quite like the samplers. I'm realising that I'm drawn to doing the samplers because I have like lots of little finishes within a main project. So that is exciting me. So yeah, so those are my cross stitch projects. Then I've done some tapestry. I haven't done a lot of tapestry, but I've done some. So I have been working on the Flight of the Bumblebee tapestry by Bothy Threads again, and this, I showed it last time. Last time I think I'd only finished the design. Now I've started working on the background, so you can see here I've done the cream bits in between the flowers, and I'm working those up here and here. So it's a slow progress on this one because I've put it down for quite a few days while I concentrated on the seahorse and the sampler. I don't know, there's something about the cross stitching. I'm just like, I've got to do some stitching. So anyway, so this has taken a bit of a back seat, but I will get back to this one because I don't have a whole heap to do really. It's all background. There's a tiny bit of white that I missed out on the bumblebee near its bottom somewhere. So I need to fill that in, but generally I just have to work the background on this, and then once I've done that I can cut it up and make it into the cushion. I've got the pillow already, got the backing ready, I just need to finish the background and then fill in the little dots. So yeah, and what I'm doing for this, I'm trying to do the basket weave stitch for this instead of tent stitch or whatever the other one is called, half cross stitch. So it looks like this on the back. So it's got more of a kind of a baskety look to it, where I've worked in the diagonal. So you work in a diagonal direction rather than up and down or horizontally. So yeah, so the way that it looks on the back is slightly different. I think my back is a lot tidier than my my flamingo one was, the Pink Ladies one. So I'm quite impressed with how far I've come along with this. I'm not going to show you the back of my cross stitch because some of those are pretty messy, but I'm working on those. I've still been doing the pin stitch start for some of the stitching on, not on the seahorse, because on the seahorse one I don't need it, but like on this one, there's little gold stars here in between the holly, and I had to do a pin stitch start, and then I was thinking about doing a pin stitch finish, but then I thought, you know what, it's brown fabric, no one's going to see the back, so I'm just going to trail the threads for this. It's not like it's white and it's going to be seen through, so my back is not particularly tidy, but it's not a huge mess. I'll show you another day. Anyway, so that's that. I think those are all my works in progress that I've worked on. That's it. So now it's time to show you what I've been buying and what's been sent to me and that, all that good stuff. So let's move into incoming. For incoming, the first thing I want to show you is this lovely shawl that I got. So my friend Em, she decided to make me this lovely shawl, which is called the Vertices Unite shawl, and it's by Stephen West. And she bought some lovely yarn from Elliott Craft House Magic, and she knit me this mini. It's the mini version. With the Vertices Unite shawl, you get the regular version, and then there's a slightly smaller version. She's knit the smaller version, and it's made up of, I can't tell you what the colours are, but they are all blues, and she knows blue is my favourite colour, so a mixture of different blues, and she made this lovely shawl for me, and I love it. It's been blocked, it is lovely and stretchy, it's all garter stitch, and it'll be so nice and warm to wear underneath my coat if and when I do start going out a lot more, so we shall see. But I'm really enjoying this lovely gift. Okay, so I also I'm gonna just pull things as I see them. So I bought some yarn, because I think I mentioned last time that I bought these yarns called Japanese Silk by Wild Rose Yarns. Oops, they're all falling out now. That's her logo on Etsy, and there was a mixture of colours, and I made a cowl, and I was thinking about making some gloves to go with it, but I didn't have the right yarn, so I've ordered some more to see if I can make the matching gloves to go with it. So these are 20 gram minis, and they don't have a colourway, but I would call them the Japanese silks because they're pretty close to it, and they are merino nylon base, 75-25 merino nylon base. So I have these little minis to work with. Then I ordered some stuff off of John Lewis and the website, and I wasn't entirely happy with how my orders arrived, and they credited my account with a token gesture of goodwill, and so I decided to put in an order for a couple of cross stitch kits. So I picked up the Damask Rose needle case, because I have, with all these little cross stitch kits that I've been working on, I have accumulated quite a little stash of needles, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with them. So I thought, if I have a needle case, then I can perhaps put the needles in that and label them correctly for, like, you know, 14 count fabric this needle, 16 count fabric that needle. Not quite sure, but I just thought that it'd be helpful to have a little needle case to put them in. So I picked that up, and it's got this lovely rose detail there. I've stitched a bookmark like this early on in the year, and now I like the needle case, so I thought I'd choose that design for me. And I also picked up the Victorian lavender sachet that was on their website also. So that's just to hold lavender, so that can go in one of my drawers to keep it nice and smelling nice and fresh, or under my pillow or something, whatever. I just wanted to stitch that because I thought that would be fun. So it's a bunch of lavender, and it's a small kit, complete kit with needle, fabric, everything you need in there, including lavender. And so yeah, so I've got these two projects. Not sure when I'm going to do them, but they are small. I picked up a dimensions kit. I'm always buying, or recently I've used or bought quite a few Bothy threads kits, so I thought I would have a go at finding a different brand and see how I get on with a cross stitch by a different brand. So I picked up this one, which is by Dimensions, and it looks a little bit trickier to me. And this is on 14 count Aida, so you get everything in the kit. You get the Aida, the felt, the needle, the instructions, and you do the design and then create the piece afterwards. So all the threads are there, kitted up. And so yeah, not sure when I'm going to start this one. I want to finish something before I make a start on this, because this looks a little bit more intense than the ones that I'm working on with all the threads. Because with this kit, I noticed, I was looking at it yesterday, and I noticed that for the design, the designer actually combines some threads, and I've never had to do that in the kits that I've worked so far. So that's going to be a new thing for me to do with this kit. So that's that. Then I picked up some cotton, some white cotton yarn. I forgot to mention this. I picked up some white cotton when I picked up the cotton for the placemats, because I thought that perhaps I could make another little pouch or something and do a design, maybe do some colour work with that. So it'd be nice to have some white cotton. That would just come in handy at some point. So I've got that. It's Drops Muscat. This is just white and it's cotton. Anyway, so I've been really getting into the cross stitching, as you know. So I have wanted to do a full coverage piece, and I kept looking at this particular piece, and I decided, okay, buy it and have a go at it when I'm ready. So I went to the Heaven and Earth Designs website and I picked up a story keep, because I was watching a video where somebody explained that a story keep would be a good place to start for a beginner to full coverage. So I picked up this story keep, Life is an Open Book, London, and it's by Amy Stewart, and this is what it looks like. If I can bring it in closer. It's very detailed. Now that I'm looking at it, and I looked at the colour chart has 90 colours, and I'm thinking it's quite a lot. So although it doesn't look like overly colourful, there are a lot of colours in there, and for those of you that are stitchers, you will know that to do Heaven and Earth Designs prints, they're quite intricate. So you're supposed to work it 2/1 on a 25 count fabric. So I've got my 25 count fabric. I ordered this, which is, I thought it would be easier if I ordered a 25 count easy count grid fabric. So I got this, which is Lugana even weave. So I've got my gridded fabric ready to go, and when it arrived, I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, those little squares are so small. I mean, look how tiny the holes are compared to my finger. I don't know how I'm going to be able to see it, so it might be a while before I actually have a go at it. But I've got the fabric to work the pattern. I just now need to source the threads and then muster up the courage to give it a go, basically. But that is the design. Life is an Open Book, London, by Amy Stewart. And that's it. That's all I've been buying. I do have some Stitchy Kindness, but I think I'm going to wait till next video to share that, because that is still in quarantine with my other quarantined post. So I will show that next time round. So that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed seeing what I've been working on over the last few weeks. If you have any questions or want to share any tips, or just comment generally, you can do that in the description box below, not the description box, the comments box below the video. As I said before, I usually link my patterns in the description box underneath the video, so do check that out. if you are not on Ravelry and you want any information about any of the projects that I have talked about or that I have listed on my Ravelry project page and you cannot access it, let me know in the comments section below the video, and I'll do my best to help you out with that information. But yeah, that is it from me. That is all I have to share with you. Until next time, for the winners of the sock along, please do make sure you contact me so I can get your prize out to you. To everybody else, have a fabulous next few weeks, fabulous, healthy and safe next few weeks, and I will see you soon. Take care and bye for now.